Some people come to Edinburgh Zoo for the penguins, some for the chimpanzees, but this lot are here for deer. It's the British Deer Society's annual general meeting, and as it's in Scotland, a lot of what's being presented by government scientists, independent scientists, economists and land managers is focusing on deer and habitat north of the border. Ticks, hybrids, grazing pressure, government policy, they're all fair game and issues in which the BDS has a say. But the outgoing chairman is particularly worried about CWD, not Chinese water deer, but chronic wasting disease.
The best tool that we have at the moment of looking at how we might do something about that is undoubtedly the genetics of deer. It's a bit like muntjac. If you see one, you know there are 10 or 15. By the time we see one deer with chronic wasting disease, we know that we've got a significant problem, as other people have found. So it's a question of how we react to it, what we do with it, and I think that's our primary focus, is to do that. The next big threat has to be the politics of people, land ownership and deer and their natural habitat. We need to look harder into all those things and have a good answer and be very clear about what that is.
The BDS was set up 55 years ago by deer stalkers and deer lovers, who are the same thing. You'd be wrong if you thought the society was purely about shooting deer. It's a broad church and it wants anyone with a passion for deer to join its 6,000 members.
It needs to stand up and be counted a bit more as the go-to place, the repository for objective information on deer and their management. Not to be seen simply as just another club for shooters and stalkers, but a place where you can go to for good, dispassionate, objective information on the biology of deer and modern management techniques. And I actually think it's a very exciting time to be joining, because I'm pushing at an open door in many ways, that I'm going to help them implement a number of good changes which they've already decided upon for themselves.
Many of the presentations are available on the BDS Facebook page. Away from the PowerPoints, we will give the last word to John Bruce, who brings a multinational group of contributors together in front of what could be a tough crowd.
Why are deer so special? What is it?
Well, it's strange that I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone because everybody's here. I know I'm not alone, there's 6,000 members. I know I'm not alone because when I wear this tie in Tesco's, people stop me and ask me what it's for. And people link to deer in a fascinating way, and I don't know if there's any one answer as to why they do it, but they link to it because they see it, they link to it because they know it's there, they link to it because they like to eat it, they link to it because they're fascinated by them. And, you know, deer are pretty creatures to observe. But what we need to be conscious of is that sometimes too, and this is a personal experience, when I was asked to give advice on the necessity of a cull, and it was a cull of an urban population. And whilst I used my rationale to explain to the 30 people in the community council what had to happen, I kept my composure. But there's a lady out there who phoned me and described what those deer meant to her in her stressful life that shocked me to the core, and I hope she sees this, because she made me conscious to the unexplained desire to observe wild animals. And to her, they were the pressure release every day between a stressful job and a stressful home. And she said, John, all I want is 5 minutes to have a fag on my way to work and watch those deer. Do they really have to die? And then I had to give my reasoning again. And sadly, she eventually agreed. But I was very quiet for a long time afterwards. And I think that revealed to me once and for all that people, normal, ordinary people who you'd never think would have an interest, do, and they expect us to look after them properly. And that's not a role I take lightly or shirk, and I'm proud to wear this tie.